Yo guys, we just got some insane news and leaks about the upcoming Halloween event in Blox Fruits. And on top of that, we may finally know the release date for the Oni fruit. But before that, if you want a chance to win a permanent pain fruit, you must watch this video until the very end. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below the secret code that I will reveal somewhere at the very end. I'll be picking a random winner, so make sure you stick around because this one is going to be crazy. So let's get into it. October is here, and with it comes Halloween hype. For the past few weeks, the community has been speculating that we would see some kind of Halloween event in Blox Fruits, and now we actually have evidence to back this up. A screenshot started circulating on Twitter, and I'll read it directly for you guys. The tweet said, "We are very likely to get a Halloween event this year, even if it's the same as last year. We might also see some skins for Ghost or Shadow." This is huge. It confirms that the devs are at least considering or actively working on a Halloween event for this October. Even if it ends up being similar to last year's event, we could still get new content in the form of skins, cosmetics, and grinding events. But here, that's where things get even more interesting. What if this year's Halloween event also ties into the release of a new fruit? And the one fruit that everyone has been talking about for months is, of course, the Oni fruit. Now here's the big theory. We know that Oni has been teased by the devs before. It fits the Halloween theme perfectly. Demons, cursed powers, and dark energy all align with the spooky vibe of October. So the most promising bet right now is that Oni could actually drop during the Halloween event. Imagine logging into grind event currency, and suddenly a new fruit is in the game. The hype would be insane, and it makes perfect sense for the devs to drop it in a limited time event to maximize excitement. Looking back at last year's Halloween event gives us even more clues. The devs introduced event currency in the form of candy, which players could grind by defeating enemies. That candy could then be exchanged for rewards like accessories, boosts, and rare items. If we get the same system again this year, Oni could potentially be tied to it. For example, imagine needing to collect event tokens to unlock Oni, or defeating a Halloween boss that has a small chance of dropping the fruit. This would turn the Oni release into not just an update, but an event that requires grinding and teamwork. On top of that, skins were a big part of previous Halloween events, and the leak directly mentioned Ghost and Shadow skins. But Oni itself could also launch with an exclusive event skin, maybe a fiery demon form or a cursed pumpkin-style design that is only available during October. That would instantly make Oni one of the rarest flexes in the game, since anyone who missed the Halloween event wouldn't be able to get that skin again. Another thing to consider is how the devs handle hype. They know the entire community is watching Oni closely, and dropping it in a Halloween event lets them maximize retention. Every single player would want to log in daily, grind candies, and check for event bosses. It's not just about dropping Oni, it's about creating a month-long cycle of hype and engagement that keeps the community active right up until update 28. And let's be honest, if Oni is as strong as people expect, it won't just be a fruit, it'll be an event-defining moment. Players will rush into PvP arenas to test out the combos, raids will suddenly be filled with Oni users, and traders will start charging insane prices for it. The community will shift almost overnight, because any fruit with this much anticipation instantly becomes the centerpiece of the game the moment it arrives. Another angle we shouldn't ignore is how Oni could influence grinding outside of PvP. Imagine if Oni's abilities gave players better mobility for farming, or unique ways to clear groups of enemies faster. That alone would make it not just a PvP powerhouse, but also one of the best grinding fruits in the game. Players who normally avoid PvP would still chase after Oni just for the efficiency it could bring to farming levels, fragments, or raid currency. This is also why Oni's release window matters so much. If it drops during Halloween, it stands alone as the star of the event. But if it's pushed to December, it has to share the spotlight with the control rework. While both scenarios are hype, Halloween gives Oni the breathing room to dominate the update cycle by itself, and that makes October the far more likely bet for its arrival. Now let's talk about what happens if Oni doesn't arrive in October. The second possibility is December, during the Christmas update. We already know from Rip Indra himself that the control rework is being treated like the Dragon rework, which famously got released during Christmas. So December could be a double drop, control rework plus Oni fruit. That would make December one of the biggest updates in Blox Fruit's history. But again, the timing of Halloween makes it the perfect chance to release Oni. So the October release is still the stronger bet. Think about how much sense it makes. Oni is demon-themed. Halloween is the spookiest season of the year. The devs already love surprising the community with massive drops during seasonal events. Putting Oni in October would generate insane hype across YouTube, TikTok, Twitter and Discord. Every creator would be making showcases, every player would be grinding, and the trading economy would explode overnight. Speaking of trading, let's talk about the economy for a second. If Oni releases in October, it is instantly going to skyrocket in value. We've seen it before with dragon, leopard, and other top-tier fruits. The second Oni drops, players will be trading away multiple high-value fruits just to get their hands on it. It could even surpass dragon in value depending on how strong its abilities are. And since it's brand new, it will also be one of the rarest fruits in circulation for weeks, making it even more valuable. And here, that's where it gets even crazier. If Oni becomes limited time or tied specifically to the Halloween event, its value could go beyond anything we've ever seen in Blox fruits. Imagine if you could only get Oni during October, and anyone who missed it would need to trade multiple endgame fruits to get one. That would set a new bar for rarity and push the trading economy into absolute chaos. And let's not forget about PvP. Oni could bring an entirely new meta to Blox fruits. Demon-style abilities could include heavy AoE attacks, curses that weaken enemies, or even transformation-style moves that make the user faster and stronger. If Oni is anything like what the community is imagining, it could rival dragon and leopard as one of the most dominant fruits in the entire game. And if the devs drop Oni during Halloween, you can expect PvP to change overnight as players rush to test it out. Another interesting angle is how Oni could affect raids. Imagine Oni abilities being specifically strong against certain raid bosses, or giving unique advantages during high-difficulty challenges. This would make Oni not just a PvP powerhouse, but also a must-have for grinders who want to farm efficiently. If Oni gives raid advantages, then expect every serious player to want it immediately, further boosting its demand and value. Another exciting angle is how Oni could tie into lore. Celestial and Oni seem to be opposites, light versus dark, divine versus cursed. If Celestial comes later and Oni drops first, the devs could be setting up a bigger storyline where these two fruits clash. And starting that story during Halloween would make perfect sense, since Oni represents the darker side of the new fruits we've been waiting on. And here's a theory many players haven't considered. What if Oni is introduced first during Halloween as a limited preview version, and then its full awakening or full moveset is released in December? That way, the devs could build hype across 2 updates instead of 1. Players would get to test Oni during October, but its true form and ultimate power would only arrive later, possibly alongside control rework. That kind of staggered release would keep the community hooked for months. The community hype is already massive. Every leak, every screenshot, every admin hint has players on edge waiting for Oni. And now, with this new Halloween leak, all the signs are pointing toward October being the month we finally see it. Sure, there's always the chance it gets delayed to December, but with Halloween event buzz growing and the timing being just too perfect, it feels like Oni is about to make its debut. So to wrap this up, here's what we know. The screenshot confirms a Halloween event is very likely to happen. The devs are planning skins for Ghost and Shadow, which alone would be hype, but the real headline is Oni. It could arrive as soon as this October during the Halloween event. If not, the next most likely time is December with the control rework, but all signs right now point toward October being the month Oni finally arrives. And as promised, here is the secret giveaway code. Oni is coming. Comment it down below for a chance to win that permanent pain fruit. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so they don't miss the leaks. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.